Do you feel it, warrior? That invisible weight pressing down on your mind the moment you open your eyes. It's not the morning grogginess, it's a deeper exhaustion. It's the fog of 1,000 open tabs in your brain before your feet even hit the floor. It's the low-grade hum of anxiety from a battle you've already lost before it's even begun. This is the disease of the modern age, a fractured mind. A mind pulled in 100 directions by a world engineered to shatter your focus, to steal your peace, and to leave you feeling perpetually busy, but never ever productive. You have goals, ambitions, a fire inside you. But that fire is being smothered by the relentless static of digital noise, and the worst part is, you're the one letting it happen. You are willingly handing the keys to your own consciousness over to algorithms designed to keep you weak, distracted, and overwhelmed. The first move of the day decides the entire battle. And what is your first move? You reach for your phone. You let the chaos in. Before you've had a single original thought, you're bombarded by the world's emergencies, other people's opinions, and a carefully curated stream of outrage and desire. The notifications are digital sirens, luring your attention onto the rocks of triviality. The infinite scroll is a colosseum where your focus is the gladiator, and it is always slain. A voice, the insidious whisper of your own untrained mind, tells you a lie. You have to stay connected. You might miss something important. More information is the key to control. This is the slave's creed. By the time you pour your first cup of coffee, your mind is no longer your own. It has been hijacked. Your day will not be built on intention. It will be a desperate series of reactions to a storm you invited into your own house. This isn't just about a wasted morning. This is about a stolen life. Think about it. That book you were going to write, the business you were going to build, the physique you were going to forge. Where are they? They are buried under a mountain of half-finished projects, forgotten resolutions, and the digital dust of 1,000,000 distractions. You are intelligent, you are capable, but you have become a master of starting and a novice of finishing. This constant state of mental fragmentation is the silent thief robbing you of your most precious non-renewable resource, your time and your attention. It's the corrosive acid that eats away at your self-discipline, making you feel like a passenger in your own life, a ghost in the machine, driven by the whims of external demands instead of the iron will of your own purpose. You end each day exhausted, not from meaningful effort, but from the mental whiplash of being pulled in every direction at once. Let's be brutally honest. The enemy is not your phone. It's not the news. It's not your email inbox. Those are just the arenas. The enemy is the weakness within you that craves the chaos. It's the undisciplined part of your mind that seeks the cheap dopamine hit of a notification over the deep satisfaction of focused work. You've tried the gentle fixes, haven't you? The digital detoxes that last a weekend. The productivity apps that just become another notification to ignore. The hollow mantras of positive thinking. They all fail for one simple reason. They try to manage the storm outside instead of building a fortress inside. You cannot control the world's chaos, but you can forge a mind that the chaos and cannot penetrate. You can build an inner citadel, a command center from which you dictate your terms to the world, not the other way around. What if I told you there was an ancient operating system for the mind, a warrior's code forged in the fires of empires and battlefields over 2,000 years ago? A system designed not for quiet contemplation in a monastery, but for action in the brutal arena of life. This is Stoicism, and it is not a philosophy, it is an arsenal. It is a set of iron laws for building an unbreakable mind. We are not here to talk about theories, we are here to forge weapons. Over the next few minutes, I am going to hand you the blueprint for the 10 iron laws that will allow you to seize total control of your mind, to silence the internal noise, and to finally become the commander of your own soul, not a slave to the digital tide. This is the path to reclaiming your focus, your power, and your life. But this knowledge is not for spectators, it is for warriors. A forge is hot, and it demands commitment. Before we raise the first hammer, prove your discipline now. Subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. Warriors do not enter the arena half-heartedly. This is your first act of deliberate intention. Then go to the comments and write your declaration of war against your own weakness. It can be simple. My mind is my fortress, or I command my attention. This is your oath, your first strike. It's the line you draw in the sand, separating the person you were from the warrior you're about to become. Do it now. The battle for your mind has already begun. Let's name the disease. Let's drag it out of the shadows and into the harsh light of the forge. This isn't about distraction. That's a soft, comfortable word. This is about a deep, gnawing addiction to mental comfort. Your mind, the most powerful weapon you possess, has been trained to flee from the slightest resistance. The moment a task becomes difficult, the moment you have to truly think, an itch begins. An impulse, a craving for the easy dopamine of a notification, a new email, a quick scroll. You call it a quick break, but it is a retreat. It is the modern warrior's cowardice, abandoning the front line of deep work to seek refuge in the shallow trenches of digital noise. The enemy is not the siren's call. It's the part of you that wants to crash upon the rocks. Look at how this poison seeps into your physical form. Your body is the vessel for your will, but what happens when the will is weak? The mind that cannot endure the discomfort of a single, focused hour is the same mind that cannot endure the burn of a final rep in the gym. It's the same mind that chooses the instant gratification of processed junk over the disciplined fuel of a warrior's diet. You feel sluggish, tired, and soft, not because your body has failed, but because your mind has surrendered. Your posture slumps not from the weight of your work, but from the weight of your indecision and mental fatigue. Your body is a direct, honest reflection of your internal state. It is the physical scoreboard in the war against your own weakness. And right now, warrior, you are losing. Now look at your career, your so-called work. You are a master of being busy. You juggle emails, attend meetings, and shuffle digital files with frantic energy. You have convinced yourself that this flurry of activity is productivity. It is a lie. It is the illusion of progress, the real work, the strategic thinking, the creative breakthrough, the project that will define your legacy, requires long, uninterrupted stretches of deep focus. It demands that you wrestle with a single problem until it breaks. But you cannot do that. Your fractured mind can no longer sustain the pressure, so you skim the surface, doing the easy, reactive tasks that make you feel productive, while your true potential, your masterpiece, gathers dust in the cellar of your mind. You have become a janitor of information, not an architect of value. And the corrosion spreads. It seeps into your most sacred spaces, your relationships. You are physically present with your partner, your children, your friends, but your mind is elsewhere. It's in your pocket, waiting for the next buzz. You offer half-hearted nods while mentally scrolling through your newsfeed. You listen with one ear, while the other is tuned to the phantom vibration of a notification. This isn't just a bad habit, it is a profound betrayal. You are telling the people you claim to love that a stranger's opinion, a breaking news alert, or a work email is more important than their presence. You are offering them the ghost of your attention, the hollow shell of a connection. And you wonder why you feel disconnected, why the intimacy fades. It's because you have abandoned the battlefield of the present moment for the trivial skirmishes of the digital world. You have been fed the grand delusion of multitasking, You wear it as a badge of honor, a sign of your ability to handle the modern world's demands. Let's call it what it is, a frantic dance of incompetence. It is the act of doing many things poorly, all at once. It is the signature move of a mind that fears commitment. The focus required to master a single task is terrifying to the undisciplined mind, so it scatters its energy, ensuring that nothing of consequence is ever truly accomplished. Multitasking is not a skill, it is a symptom of the disease. It is the banner under which the weak and the distracted justify their inability to do the one thing that matters, to choose a target and apply relentless, undivided force until it is obliterated. This creates a vicious, self-devouring cycle. Your lack of focus leads to mediocre results in your work, your health, and your relationships. This mediocrity gives birth to a nagging, low-grade feeling of guilt and shame. You know you are capable of more. You feel the sting of your own squandered potential. And how does your untrained mind cope with this internal pain? It seeks an anesthetic. It runs back to the very source of the disease. More distraction. You dive deeper into the infinite scroll, the endless video feed, the political outrage, desperately trying to numb the voice inside that whispers you are failing. You are using the poison as the antidote, digging yourself deeper into a grave of your own making with every click, every swipe, every desperate escape from the truth. Make no mistake, warrior, the cost of this inaction is your life. Not in a single dramatic moment, but in a slow, agonizing erosion of the man or woman you were meant to be. Project this forward. In 10 years, where will you be? Your body, softer and weaker. Your career, a flat line of unrealized ambition. Your relationships hollowed out by a million moments of digital neglect. Your mind, once a sharp blade, now a dull, rusted tool, incapable of deep thought. The dreams you have now will not even be a source of pain. They will be a forgotten language from a person you no longer recognize. You will not have lived a life of deliberate creation. You will have merely reacted to a decade of notifications. This is the unvarnished truth, the life you are bleeding out, drop by drop, with every moment of surrendered focus. The world will not wait for you to get serious. The forge is burning, and time is running out. You think this fight is new? You think you are the first generation to feel the pull of 1,000 trivialities, the crippling weight of a mind at war with itself. That is the arrogance of the present moment. It is a comforting lie whispered by your weakness, telling you that your struggle is unique, that the challenges you face are unprecedented. It is false. The battlefield has changed, warrior, but the war is eternal. The names of the distractions are different. The Roman Forum's gossip is now your social media feed. The Emperor's decree is now a breaking news alert. But the enemy is identical. It is the untrained human mind, slave to its appetites and terrified of its own silence. 2 millennia ago, in the blood and marble of Rome, a legion of warrior philosophers diagnosed this disease. They were the Stoics, and they didn't just diagnose it. They forged the cure in the fires of logic, discipline, and brutal self-awareness. The first law of this ancient diagnosis came from a man who knew slavery firsthand, for he had worn the chains. Epictetus taught the most liberating and brutal truth you will ever hear. It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. That notification that just shattered your focus, it has no power. It is a neutral flicker of light on a screen. The power comes from your internal verdict. You have trained yourself to judge it as urgent, important, must be answered now. You have handed over your authority to a meaningless digital chime. Every time you react without thinking, you are reinforcing the chains of your own servitude. You are a slave not to your phone, but to your own undisciplined judgments. The Stoics understood that freedom is not found in changing the world, but in mastering the internal courtroom where you sentence every external event to either matter or mean nothing. Then comes Seneca, a man who walked the halls of power, advising the tyrant Nero. He was surrounded by chaos, intrigue, and the constant threat of death. He saw powerful men acting like children, squandering their only true possession, time. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it. Look at your screen time report, warrior. Look at those hours you will never get back, bled away into the digital void, spent consuming the manufactured dramas of strangers." Seneca would not see a modern, connected individual. He would see a soul committing slow-motion suicide. He would say, "You are busy, yes, but busy being a spectator to other people's lives while the script of your own lies, unwritten. You complain of having no time for your great work, yet you give away hours each day to the most worthless of thieves." This is not a time management problem. It is a crisis of self-respect. The greatest of them, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, commanded the most powerful army on earth from the frozen frontiers of the empire. He faced plague, betrayal, and constant war. And where did he find his strength? Not in his legions, not in his title. He found it within. He called it the inner citadel. He understood that the world outside is a relentless siege, an endless barrage of demands, opinions, and emergencies. The untrained mind tries to fight every battle on the plains, scattering its forces and being overrun. The Stoic warrior does the opposite. He retreats inside the fortress of his own mind, a place where no external event can ever breach the walls. Your mistake is that you have left the gates of your citadel wide open. You let every rumor, every notification, every email, every algorithm-driven whim march right in and take the throne. The goal is not to stop the siege. The goal is to build a fortress so strong that the chaos outside becomes irrelevant noise. The ancient masters saw the engine that drives this weakness, the undisciplined nature of desire. The digital world is the most powerful desire manufacturing machine ever created. It is an engine designed to make you want the next piece of information, want the validation of a like, want the product in the advertisement, want to feel included in the latest outrage. The Stoics taught that peace is found not in satisfying your desires, but in mastering them. Most of what you crave is outside your control. By chaining your happiness to getting these things, you guarantee your own misery. Every time you scroll, you are training your mind to be a bottomless pit of wanting. You are practicing the art of dissatisfaction. The Stoic warrior learns to want only one thing: command over their own mind. Everything else is smoke, and what about your crippling fear of missing out? This constant need to be plugged in to know what's happening right now? The Stoics would identify this as the most pathetic form of slavery, bondage to the opinions of others. You are terrified of being seen as uninformed or out of the loop. You have shackled your inner peace to the fleeting judgment of the crowd, a crowd that doesn't know you and doesn't care about you. A warrior's value is forged in action and character, not in their ability to regurgitate the day's headlines. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to discard the opinions of others, to focus only on his own path. To be a warrior is to have the courage to be ignorant of the trivial, to deliberately unplug from the static so you can tune into the signal of your own purpose. Your focus is not a resource to be spent pleasing the mob. It is the sacred weapon with which you will build your legacy. So you see, warrior, your affliction is not modern. It is ancient. The frantic, fractured state of your mind is the result of fighting a timeless war without a strategy. You have been a raw recruit, charging into machine gun fire with your bare hands. You have mistaken the symptoms, the phone, the emails, the notifications, for the disease itself. The disease is a mind that has never been taught the art of self-command. It is a will that has never been forged into steel. The Stoics are not offering you a comforting theory. They are handing you the field manual, the battle-tested operating system for the human mind. The diagnosis is now complete. The enemy has been identified, its tactics exposed. Now we move from understanding the war to forging the weapons you will use to win it. All right, warrior, the diagnosis is complete. You see the enemy. You understand its ancient tactics. Now we forge the first weapon. This is not a suggestion. This is not a helpful tip. This is the first iron law of the unbreakable mind. It is the bedrock upon which your inner citadel will be built. It is the law that separates the slave from the sovereign. You will not like it because it will strip you of every excuse you have ever used to justify your weakness. The first law is this: you will draw a hard, merciless line between the world you control and the world you do not, and you will waste not one more breath, not one more ounce of energy, trying to command the world that is not yours. This law is the ultimate antidote to the poison of modern anxiety. Your entire life has been a frantic, desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable. You try to control the number of emails in your inbox, the opinions of your colleagues, the algorithm of your social media feed, the breaking news of the world. You are like a mad king standing on the shore, screaming at the tide to stop. It is pathetic, it is exhausting, and it is the source of all your suffering. You feel overwhelmed not because the world is demanding, but because you have foolishly accepted the premise that you must meet every demand. You feel distracted not because your phone is buzzing, but because you have given a meaningless buzz the power to command your attention. You have been fighting the wrong war, on the wrong battlefield, and you have been losing spectacularly every single day. Let's make this brutally clear. That notification that just popped up, outside your control. The new project your boss just dropped on you, outside your control. The political chaos you see on the news, laughably outside your control. These things are the weather, warrior. They are the rain, the wind, the storm. Only a fool gets angry at the rain. A warrior, however, focuses only on what is inside his control, his response. The choice to ignore the notification, the choice to tackle the new project with calm, focused discipline, the choice to turn off the noise and focus on his own duty. Your power does not lie in shaping the world to your liking. That is the fantasy of a child. Your power, your only power, lies in forging an internal response so disciplined, so solid, that the storms of the external world break against you like waves against a cliff. This is not passive. This is the ultimate act of aggression against your own weakness. Every time your phone buzzes, see it as a test. The undisciplined slave mind inside you will scream, "Answer it. It could be important. You might miss out." The warrior mind, governed by this first law, simply observes. There is a noise, it is external, it has no authority here, my focus is my own. Every time you feel that itch to check your email for the 10th time in an hour, you are at a crossroads. The slave takes the path of instant relief. The warrior holds the line. He recognizes the urge as an external signal, a pathetic plea from the chaos for his attention, and he denies it. This is not about ignoring the world. It is about engaging with it on your own damn terms, from the command center of your inner citadel, not as a panicked refugee fleeing from one crisis to the next. For the rest of your life, you will become a ruthless triage officer of your own attention. With every event that enters your awareness, you will ask one question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, if it is another person's action, an external event, a past mistake, or a future fear, you will label it irrelevant and refuse to grant it entry into your fortress. It can exist in the world, but it cannot exist in your mind. You will let it go, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to know which battles are worth fighting. Your energy, your focus, your will. These are your elite soldiers, and you have been scattering them on 1,000 meaningless fronts, dying on hills that were never yours to take. No more. If the answer is yes, if it is your effort on this one task, your choice of what to eat, your decision to go to the gym, your own thoughts, your own character, then you will unleash your entire arsenal upon it. You will apply the full, undivided force of your being to that single point. This is the secret. You stop wasting 99% of your power on the uncontrollable, and you channel 100% of it into the 1% that is truly yours. The result is not a 1% improvement, it is a quantum leap. It is the difference between a scattered handful of buckshot and a single armor-piercing round. This is how you go from being busy to being effective, from being a frantic reactor to a deliberate creator. So let the world rage, let the notifications buzz, let the emails pile up, let the chaos merchants scream for your attention. You are no longer part of that circus. You are the silent, immovable center of your own universe. You have drawn the line in the sand of your own mind. On one side lies the storm, which you will observe, but never obey. On the other side lies the citadel of your will, of which you are the absolute and undisputed commander. This is not just a law, warrior. This is your liberation. The chains were never on your wrists, they were on your perceptions, and you have just been handed the key. The time for theory is over. The blueprints are useless without stone and mortar. The war plan is nothing but ink on paper until the first arrow is loosed. This is where the steel is tested, warrior. This first law, the ruthless division of the world into what you command and what you do not, is a dead concept until you apply it under the fire of your own life. You will not find this power in a book. You will forge it in the chaos of your daily existence. Every moment of frustration, every surge of anger, every wave of laziness is not an obstacle. It is the forge, it is the anvil, it is your opportunity to hammer this law into the very fiber of your being until it is no longer a thought, but an instinct. Let the first test be anger. A driver cuts you off, nearly causing a collision. Your boss takes credit for your work in a meeting. Someone you trust betrays you. Feel that, the hot electric surge in your blood, the tightening in your chest, the primal scream in your skull for justice, for retribution. This is the slave mind, instantly yanking on its chains, surrendering its internal state to an external event. Now apply the law, the driver's recklessness, outside your control, your boss's insecurity, outside your control, the betrayal. It has already happened. It is now a part of history, as immovable as a mountain. To rage against it is to declare war on reality itself, a war you will always lose. The warrior mind observes the surge of adrenaline and refuses to give it a story. It labels the event external, unimportant. Your judgment is the only thing you command. You can choose to see it as a mortal insult and poison yourself with rage, or you can see it as the predictable, pathetic action of a flawed human and preserve the sanctity of your inner citadel. You refuse to let another person's weakness become your own. Now, the test of pain. The chronic ache in your back that never fades, the sharp sting of a financial loss, the deep wound of rejection. The slave mind does not just feel the pain, it amplifies it. It adds a second spiritual agony to the first, physical or emotional one. It whispers, "This is unbearable, it will never end. Why is this happening to me?" It wraps itself in the story of suffering. But you are a warrior. You apply the law, the raw sensation of pain. That is a signal from your body, a fact. The number in your bank account, a fact. The rejection, a past event. These things are outside your immediate control. But the story you tell yourself about them, that is entirely within your command. You can divorce the event from the judgment. The pain is a signal to train smarter. The loss is a lesson in strategy. The rejection is data for your next attempt. The warrior does not deny the pain, but they refuse to grant it the power of suffering. They use it as a whetstone to sharpen their resolve. Consider the ultimate test: loss. A relationship ends, you lose your job, a loved one is gone. Here, the slave mind collapses. It drowns in what was, clinging to ghosts, replaying memories, cursing a fate it cannot change. It allows grief to fester into a permanent identity of victimhood. This is the most brutal arena for the first law. The event is absolute. It is outside your control. No amount of wishing, praying, or screaming will alter the past. To fight this reality is the definition of madness. The Stoic warrior does not suppress their grief. They honor it, they feel it, but they anchor themselves in what they still command. They control their memory of the person. They control the choice to live a life that honors what was lost. They control their actions in this present moment. They can choose to be destroyed by the storm, or they can choose to be the lighthouse that stands firm, guiding others through the dark, their strength forged in the very heart of the hurricane. And what of the most common enemy, the one you face every single morning? Laziness. The alarm blares. The warmth of the bed is a siren's call. The difficult task on your to-do list looms like a monster. The slave mind whines, "I'm too tired, I don't feel motivated, I'll do it tomorrow." It is a slave to its fleeting moods, a cork bobbing on the waves of emotion. Apply the law, warrior. That feeling of fatigue, it's just a sensation. That lack of motivation, it is a cloud passing through the sky of your mind. These feelings are outside your direct control, but your limbs, your body, your actions, they are yours to command. The warrior acknowledges the feeling without bowing to it. The thought process is simple and brutal. The feeling of laziness is present, it is irrelevant. The body will now rise, the body will now train, the body will now work. You sever the chain between feeling and acting. You act on commitment, not on comfort. Discipline is doing what must be done, especially when you don't want to do it. Do you see it now, warrior? This is the great turning of the key. For your entire life you have been pouring your soul, your energy, your very life force into a bottomless black hole of things you cannot control. You have been trying to command the wind, the rain, and the actions of others. This is the source of your exhaustion. This is why you feel so powerless. You have been fighting 1,000 unwinnable wars on 1,000 different fronts. The first law is not about passivity. It is about a radical, strategic reallocation of your power. You cease your war with reality and turn your entire force inward to the one and only battlefield that has ever mattered, the kingdom of your own mind. The goal was never to silence the buzzing phone. The goal was to build an inner silence so absolute that the buzz is just a meaningless noise in a distant world. This is your new reality. The world has not changed, but you have. You are no longer a refugee, fleeing from every discomfort and every external demand. You are a guardian at the gate. For the rest of this day, this is your only mission. Every irritation, every unexpected problem, every urge for distraction is a test. It is a sparring partner sent to strengthen your resolve. With every event, you will ask the question, is this within my control? If the answer is no, you will let it pass through you like a ghost. It does not exist. If the answer is yes, you will bring the full and terrible force of your focused will upon it. This is not a one-time decision. It is a moment-to-moment practice. It is the first day of your life as the undisputed commander of your soul. The forge is hot. Your training has begun. And so, the world begins to change. Or rather, it stays exactly the same, but you are no longer the same man or woman looking at it. The first thing you notice is the silence. Not an external silence. The world is as loud and demanding as ever. The notifications, still cry out for your attention. The emergencies of others still try to become your own. But the noise inside your head, that constant frantic static of a mind at war with itself, has been quelled. You wake up, and the first move is no longer a desperate grab for the phone. It is a conscious breath. You feel the floor beneath your feet. You are the one who decides when the day begins, when the gates of the citadel are opened. The phone is now a tool, not a master. It waits for your command. This is not a feeling of peace, not at first. It is a stark, clean emptiness. It is the terrifying and exhilarating silence of a blank page, waiting for its author. This internal command immediately bleeds into your physical reality. Remember the old you? The one who negotiated with the alarm clock, whose body felt like a leaden weight, a burden to be dragged through the day? That person is a ghost. The mind, now forged in discipline, issues commands that the body has no choice but to obey. That final, burning rep at the gym is no longer a question. It is a foregone conclusion. The choice between clean fuel and cheap poison is no longer a battle. It is a simple, logical decision made by a commander who respects his own war machine. Your posture changes. You stand taller, not out of arrogance, but because you are now anchored by an unbreakable internal core. The sluggishness and fog are replaced by a sharp, vibrant energy. Your body is no longer a prison of your bad habits. It has become the physical manifestation of your iron will. Your work is unrecognizable. You were once a master of the frantic shuffle, a juggler of 1,000 trivial tasks, ending each day exhausted but with nothing of substance to show for it. You called it being busy. Now you see it for what it was, a coward's dance, an escape from the terrifying prospect of deep, meaningful effort. Now you practice the art of disappearance. You shut down the noise, you close the doors, and for 90 minutes you descend into the work itself. You become a creator, an architect, a problem solver. In that sacred block of time, you produce more value than the old you did in an entire day of distracted flailing. You are no longer measured by the hours you are available, but by the brutal effectiveness of your focused output. You have become a weapon, and your work is now the precise, devastating impact of a single, well-aimed shot. The most profound change, however, happens where you least expect it. In the quiet moments with the people you love. You were a phantom before, a hollow shell physically present while your mind chased digital ghosts. You gave them the dregs of your attention. Now, you give them all of it. When you listen to your partner, you are not waiting for your turn to speak or for your phone to vibrate. You are hearing them. When you play with your children, you are not a distracted supervisor. You are in the game, fully and completely. The change in their eyes is your reward. They see you, they feel your presence. You are no longer a node in a network, but a rock in their lives. You have learned the ultimate truth of connection. It is forged not in the quantity of time, but in the undivided quality of your attention. The tyranny of time is broken. You used to live in a state of constant low-grade panic, always behind, always chasing a deadline, always feeling like time was slipping through your fingers. This anxiety was the natural result of a mind that lived everywhere but the present moment. By anchoring yourself in the now, by focusing only on the task at hand, time itself seems to expand. The hours you once bled away into useless worry, into scrolling through the lives of strangers, into fighting battles you could not win. Those hours are returned to you. You find you have an abundance of time for what matters. The frantic sprint is replaced by a powerful, deliberate stride. You are no longer a slave to the clock. You are a master of the moment. And in this, you discover the nature of true freedom. The world sold you a lie, that freedom is having endless options, the ability to be anywhere, see anything, do anything at any moment. You lived that lie, and it made you a slave. You were chained to every possibility, every notification, every what if. The warrior learns the opposite. True freedom is not the power to do anything, but the discipline to choose what you will not do. It is the ruthless, liberating power of saying no. No to the trivial. No to the distraction, no to the demands of the mob. Each no to the outside world is a thunderous yes to your own purpose. You are not trapped by your discipline, you are liberated by it. You have built the walls of your citadel, not to keep the world out, but to create a sacred space within, where you are finally free to become who you were meant to be. This is the inevitable result. You stop looking for validation outside yourself. The old you was a beggar, panhandling for likes, for praise, for the approval of people who did not matter. Your self-worth was a fragile thing, rising and falling with the digital tide. No more. Your new identity is forged in the act itself. The victory is not the finished project. The victory is in the discipline it took to do the work. The reward is not the applause. The reward is the quiet, unshakable self-respect that comes from knowing you held the line against your own weakness for one more day. You are no longer a reflection of the world's opinion. You are the source of your own power. You are the commander of your own mind. You are the warrior in the arena of your own life. And the battle has just begun. Talk is cheap, warrior. Understanding the battle plan is not the same as taking the hill. All the philosophy in the world is just dead ink on a page until it is forged into a weapon by the sweat of your own discipline. We are done with diagnosis. We are done with theory. Now, we begin the ritual. This is not a life hack. This is a wartime procedure for your mind, to be performed every single day without fail, especially on the days you don't want to. It is called the triage of attention. It is a 2-minute declaration of sovereignty over your own day, a preemptive strike that wins the battle before the enemy even knows you are on the field. Your first move upon waking will no longer be to surrender. Before you touch your phone, before you let the world's chaos flood your mind, you will take a pen and a piece of paper, and you will write down your one prime directive for the day. Not a to-do list. That is a scattergun for the weak-willed. You will choose the one single target that, if obliterated, will constitute a victory. It could be 2 hours of deep work on your project. It could be the brutal leg day workout you've been avoiding. It must be specific, meaningful, and difficult. Writing it down is not a reminder. It is an oath. It is the act of pointing your sword at the enemy's heart and saying, You are the one that falls today. Next, you will close your eyes and perform reconnaissance. You will visualize the enemy's attack. See the red notification bubble appearing on your screen. Hear the specific chime of an incoming email. Feel the phantom vibration in your pocket. Feel that familiar, insidious itch in your mind to just take a quick look. Do not fear these phantoms. A warrior does not fear the enemy. He studies their tactics so they become predictable. You will see them for what they are: pathetic, automated attempts to hijack your will. You are mapping the battlefield of the day, anticipating the ambushes your own weakness will lay for you. Now, the preemptive strike. As you visualize each of these distractions, you will attach a new label to them. You will say the words out loud if you must, until they become a reflex. For the email notification, external, non-essential, irrelevant to my prime directive. For the urge to scroll, a craving of the slave mind. It has no authority here. For the breaking news alert, the world's manufactured emergency, not my battle. This is not an affirmation. This is a counter-assault. You are stripping these signals of the false power you have given them. You are rewriting their code in your own mind, downgrading them from urgent commands to meaningless noise. You are telling the storm where the cliff begins. This entire ritual takes less than 120 seconds. 2 minutes. You have bled away years of your life to the digital void. Do not dare tell me you don't have 2 minutes to forge your own freedom. This is the hammer blow that shapes your day. On one side, the old you, a slave who wakes up and immediately asks the digital world, "What are my orders for today?" On the other, the warrior, a sovereign who wakes up, defines victory on his own terms, anticipates the enemy's moves, and fortifies his own mind against them before the sun has even fully risen. This is not about managing your time. It is about establishing your command. So this is your first order, warrior. Tomorrow morning, the triage of attention is not an option. It is your duty. Prepare your paper and pen tonight. Place it by your bed. It is your weapon waiting for you. When you wake, you will perform this ritual before any other action. This is the first, practical, concrete step away from the person you were and toward the commander you must become. Do not think about it. Do not debate it. Do it. The forging of an unbreakable mind does not begin with a grand gesture, but with a single, disciplined act of defiance against your own weakness. The forge is now yours. We have reached the end of the blueprint, but this is not the end of the war. This is the moment you step out of the armory and onto the battlefield, fully armed for the first time in your life. We have dragged the enemy, your own undisciplined mind, out from the shadows. We have exposed its lies, its pathetic cravings for comfort and distraction. We have laid down the first iron law. You will waste no more life trying to command the world you do not control. You will instead seize absolute command of the one kingdom that has always been yours, your inner world. This is the foundation of your citadel. Every other law, every other tactic is built upon this brutal, liberating truth. The triage of attention is not a morning routine. It is your daily declaration of sovereignty. It is the 2 minutes you spend sharpening your sword before the battle begins, ensuring that your day will be a campaign of deliberate conquest, not a series of panicked retreats. With this ritual, you name your target. You anticipate the enemy's ambushes, and you strip the incoming chaos of its power before it can ever reach the gates of your mind. You are no longer a victim of the digital tide. You are the architect of your focus, the master of your moments, the unshakable rock against which the waves of triviality will now break and shatter. This is the new standard. This is the way of the Stoic warrior. Remember this, and let it burn into the core of your being. The world will always scream for your attention. It is an engine designed to manufacture urgency where there is none, to create desire for things that will not serve you, and to provoke outrage over battles that are not yours to fight. Let it scream. Your focus is not a gift to be given away to the loudest beggar. It is a fortress to be defended with your life. Your mind is not a public square, open to every passing opinion and algorithm. It is the throne room of your will, and you alone are the sovereign. This is your decree. The forge is always burning. The steel of your mind must be hammered and quenched every single day, or it will rust and grow weak. This is not a one-time transformation. It is a lifelong war of attrition against your own lesser self. The enemy never sleeps. It will be there tomorrow morning, whispering the same old lies, tempting you with the same cheap comforts. Your victory is never final. It must be earned again every single day with every single choice. The warrior's path is not a destination. It is the discipline of the path itself. If this battle cry has awakened the commander within you, then prove it now. Go to the comments and write the one sentence that will be your shield for the next 24 hours. Make it your oath. My focus is not for sale. I am the guardian of my mind. Discipline is my freedom. Declare your war. Then share this transmission with another warrior who is lost in the fog, fighting this battle alone. Subscribe to remain in the forge. The discipline is daily. We will see you in the arena.